Hi guys, welcome to Epic PC Cases. Today we're looking at some stuff that Asus sent across. Republic of Gamers and Asus have sent through the Rampage 4 formula and the 6990. Now, the 4 formula is of course their latest motherboard and it runs off the X79. It's Crossfire X compatible, 4-way SLI, it's just completely overkill. And it's given me another copy of Battlefield as well, which is really cool. And yeah, so we've got the 6990, a card that I also already have, and we are going to be pairing this with a 6970 as well. So we're going to be going for a quad fire setup, which is pretty extreme, and I'm going to have to buy a CPU for this one later on today. This is the computer that it's going in. That's been sponsored by Asus, Republic of Gamers, EK Water Blocks and Razer. So the caliber of the sponsors that we have is just immense, and yeah, to have that support is really appreciated. It's just fantastic. We're very excited about this. We took the computer apart. I'll show you us taking the computer apart in another video, and there'll be an entire computer about how we're going to be putting this thing together. And once we put it together, we'll pretty much be at where most modders are when they start a mod, as in they'll start taking things apart. We'll start doing a whole bunch of stuff to this build, and it's not just a quick assembly and putting these parts in. It's going to take quite a while because we have a 3D printer coming. We actually got a MakerBot replicator, which is cool, and we're going to be seeing what interesting things we can do with it in terms of modding. And one of the things that's on my agenda is making water cooling paths. 3D printed, all I have to do is just put them on. So very excited about all. So yeah, we're going to be doing a quick unboxing, and we're going to be having a look at these two, and then I will be later on, once I get this thing running, I'll be doing an entire video on just the BIOS settings and how to overclock this and just everything about this. And we're going to have a look at the graphics card as well on another video. We're going to be looking at how to install the EK water blocks onto this right here. So let's have a look at this one first, because this is by far the most interesting thing I've ever had. Alright, so this is the Republic of Gamers motherboard box, and it's fairly large. It's probably one of the largest. I've had 4 motherboards from Republic of Gamers now, so I'm fairly addicted. And no surprises here. You got 4 PCI Express lanes, X16, the red and black theme, which they're very well known for. And these heat sinks for the MOSFETs, they look absolutely massive. So hopefully they'll work well under overclocking. And yeah, let's open it up. Alright, so we're gonna have a look at this. This isn't much use to me because I don't actually have a door. I live in a factory, but that's very cool. So we'll keep that somewhere. You get nice metal ROG stickers, which is very, very cool. And this is your download and scratch it for Battlefield 3, which I'll make sure I don't lose that. The back plate for the motherboard, very, very useful. A lanyard. And they've given us a whole bunch of SLI and Crossfire X bridges, which it's always good to have lots and lots of these. So it even has a 3-way SLI bridge there. So you get your ROG to ROG cable for overclocking on the laptop. Got all of our bridges. You get your I/O plate, which is very useful, and no less than a whole bunch of SATA 3 cables and SATA 2 cables, which is very, very cool. And these, which I've announced on other videos, I just love these because they make it so much easier to connect your power button to your PC. And then we've got your user guide as well. Oh, what's this? And your driver's disc as well, which is very, very cool. Alright, so this is the motherboard itself, and you've got 8 SATA ports. Whopping 4 of those are SATA 3, which is really, really good, because more and more things are starting to use SATA 3, and it is backwards compatible, so that's fine. And then you've got your PCI Express lanes, which you can turn on and off for overclocking. Your start and reset buttons, which is pretty much a known feature for all the ROG boards. And you've got this little monitor here, which tells you, it gives you a code, and that code will tell you whether or not your RAM's working correctly, your CPU's working correctly. It basically gives you a diagnosis. So if you're not, you know, booting, then that allows you to diagnose the problem. Also down here, you've got your 2 BIOS, and those are your BIOS chips there, and you've got a BIOS switch as well. So you can, if one BIOS crashes, you can just boot up on the other one, which isn't, you know, there's no problems with that. And most likely I'll be using that feature instead of removing the CMOS battery. Alright, you'll notice the PS2 keyboard, just in case you're still using legacy stuff. So I wonder when they can actually get rid of these. But you've got your USBs here, plenty of USBs as you can see. You've even got your eSATA port and your CMOS reset, optical, and you've got your ROG Connect button as well. So that's all very useful. Another bunch of USB ports and the eSATA as mentioned before. Actually that's not eSATA, that's a Firewire, sorry. Firewire, you've got your 2 SATAs, eSATAs, those are the eSATAs, and then your USB 3.0. So those are your fast USB ones. They'll be really good for plugging the Megalodons in and just other USB 3.0 peripherals that you have. And one thing I noticed that was missing from this board is that it doesn't actually have 2 Ethernet ports. But that's okay, because I've always had ROG and they've always seemed to have 2 Ethernet ports and I've never actually used them. So one's fine for me. You've also got your sound here. So just your typical just inputs, outputs, all of your sound. So you can put a surround sound system without any issues. Alright, so this is the new socket and we're just going to have a look. It actually has a double latch, which is pretty unique. And we'll just remove this. And so that's the new socket 2011. That's the first time I've seen it up close and personal. And that's going to house a very, very, very expensive CPU. I haven't decided which one yet, but they're all expensive, so we're going to have to get one. But yeah, that's a very, very unique sort of feature, a double latch. That one goes there, and then they both latch down. Alright, so I'll admit I haven't actually fully done the research. I didn't know if this was going to mount or not, and I'm just on a test mount, and obviously there's no springs or anything. The rest of the easy mount that comes from EK on there, and yeah, but it mounts fairly well. It just screws straight in, which is very, very cool. So, and it comes with a nice back plate as well, so you don't have to worry about bending the motherboard. And yeah, you can use your current generation coolers on the new generation boards, which is always a positive thing. Alright, so Asus has also sent us the HD6990. I already have one of these, and I've got a 6970 as well, so very, very cool. I've just got graphics cards coming out of my ears. Awesome. This one in particular, 4GB DDR5 iFinity. iFinity is really cool because you can just mash as many displays as you can together in one graphics card, which means it has very, I'm assuming, a whole bunch of mini HDMI ports. Well, I could be wrong. I've been wrong once before in my life. Asus. They do some nice packaging. I really like gold on black, so very, very classy indeed. And oh, how good does that look? Very snazzy indeed. It's always, I remember back in the day having the 8800 GTX, and I was like, that card's massive, you know, no graphics card can be longer than that. And then, yeah, and then they bring out something like this. This thing is just ridiculously long. Nice metal construction as well, although we won't be using the heatsink because we're water cooling it. And yeah, love this card. It uses 2 of the 8 pins instead of a 6 and an 8. It just uses 2 8s. And yeah, monster card, absolutely crazy card. This here is the voltage tweak, so you can just flick that over and pump up the voltage. But we probably won't need to do that because we're going to have 2 of these in Quadfire, which is more than insane. We've got our 4 mini display ports and our DVI-D. which is really, really cool. I'll be using this, and I don't actually have that many monitors, so, but if I did, it'd be nice. I'd be able to run it off these cards without a problem. So that's your Eyefinity right there. Very, very nice. And yeah, this one can support up to 5 monitors, which is impressive to say the least. And it is just humongous. So yeah, I'd like to thank Asus for everything, just the Rampage formula, the support, really appreciate it. And we are going to be doing a full review of this graphics card and its performance and how to put the water block on. That's in another video, and we're going to be doing a full review of how to overclock the Rampage 4 formula. The BIOS settings, running through BIOS and everything. Obviously I have to play around with it first. It's going to be very, very fun to do that. And I'll certainly be using those error codes on the top to find out what I've been doing wrong. The RAM we've got as well is very, very high end. It's the 2333 megahertz RAM for the Corsair DDRs. So I'm going to be using that and hopefully get some really good mileage out of the CPU as well. So we're going to be overclocking everything. Nothing's going to be left to stock. And yeah, tune in. We've got quite a few good videos coming up, and we are this week giving away. What are we giving away?
1 hour free work, custom work.
Oh yeah, that's right. So we're giving away a $35 voucher for the Epic Store, and that's equivalent to 1 hour of free custom work. And all you have to do to enter that is to share this video. So share this video, and you have to particularly share it on Facebook. So the instructions: go to my Facebook, like the page, and then share this video, and you're in the running. And best of luck, and thank you once again to Asus. This is love it, love it. Mwah.